Nice.
So now we know that you're the breakbeat master, and you were around all those guys like Icy and all of them. You're hanging out and learning, and I remember labels like Hospital Records.
Oh yeah.
Out of the UK. Because what's funny about it is my Spread Love was remixed into that kind of breakbeat version, and I was just like, oh, was I so angry about it? But I was so angry. I remember being so angry about it. And I just couldn't hear it. But I accepted it. I'm open-minded. That's the best way I could put it. And I let them release it. I just didn't care for it, but it's not my scene. I'm a disco boy at heart. It's hard.
I hear you. It's funny. Like some of the stuff that I used to listen to back in the day, I find it hard to listen to now.
Sure.
But I'm also like the disco element is, as I said, like it was always about funky breaks for me, and like disco samples, funk samples. Whereas other people were doing breakbeats, there were like a few different subgenres, and some of it was just really, really heavy, and it was just way too heavy for me. I didn't get it. Production was good, but I just couldn't.
It sounded like James Brown, real fast. But when you said the beat was just the kick, no, it felt like those hip hop sounds was sped to a point where it was like 160 beats per minute for me. Just didn't make me happy when I heard my song. Spread love, oh, spread love. It's like everybody's rushing to the bank, cash your check, move fast, let's go. I'm like, this is shit. I said. The label called me, and they said, "What do you think? You want my answer?" They went like this, Lenny. I went, I'm just sitting there like this. You got to be kidding me, right? What is this shit? They said, oh, it's the new mix from Hospital Records. I went, I think I need a doctor, I said. That was my answer. That was my answer. Send me a doctor. I'm having a gosh damn heart attack. Heard my record all record apart like that. Oh, spread love. I'm like, I remember calling them saying, are you effing kidding me with this crap? Oh, but this is the hottest thing. The kids love it. I said, what kids? Because it killing my record. Killed it. But that's...
I think what you said about like making you happy is kind of like, that's the key to the sound that we like. It's like, I like, playing happy music and making people happy. And, if I go to, I love all music, but if I go to like, a dubstep night or a really heavy drum and bass night, and like you see, the crowd is so different. It's like everyone's like quite moody and, with their hoodie up and dancing like this. And it's like, I get it. I understand it, but it's not me.
So when they got the hoodie on, they do it YMCA. YMCA.
Indeed.
Come on, that had to be the most funniest thing in the world, everybody. You all saw Trump doing his dance with the YMCA music? Woo! And I know Felipe Rose from the band, but come on, man. Trump is doing that dance. Like, I'm like, shut that record off and take him off the stage with YMCA behind him, please. Good Lord Almighty. But anyway, for those that know, I love the Village People, but I love San Francisco. That record. Find it, listen to it, learn it. Back to Birdee. Birdee's having issues coming in and out, but we'll keep him right with us. So Birdee, what's the first disco production that you come out with and you go, wow, this is super cool. I love this sound. First one. What's the first record you did?
That I produced?
Yes. In this you left breakbeat, you close the breakbeat box, you put it away. You start to go with this disco thing. First one.
I think the first one I really felt like I had finally managed to change my style and I was confident with the new sound was a EP that I released on Andy Williams ISM Records. You know, he has Midnight Riot and then he has ISM. So I sent him this track that I had done. It actually originally started as kind of like a houseier track. But then I took the vocal that this Australian singer had sent me and completely redid the backing. And I sent it to Andy. Andy really liked it. So I would say that release, that was called the Love EP on ISM Records, was the one that I was really happy with. And I felt like I had managed to successfully change my sound. And then Pete Herbert did a remix of it, which I was super happy about. Andy was very happy, and
let's give Andy Williams a little bit. He's right in the room. He's giving us a damn right and a thumbs up. Andy Williams is talking about his Yam Who, everybody. Let's see how long it takes for my man to come back. If he's okay, I hope he comes back. He was on ISM Records, he was mentioning, through one of his and you know what's funny? Yam Who signs his first production. That's amazing. And we've had Yam Who on our show. We've had him on. I know. Andy Williams on our show. He loved it. He was an amazing guest. He had a great story. So you signed it to Andy, and then we lost you. It was gone. You were like,
and then right. I'm sorry, guys. It's Italy. The internet in Italy. You gotta understand. It's like it is what it is.
So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Ready? Marcello, check it out.
Yes.
We're going to ask you to act like a breakbeat artist and talk. And then when it locks up,
I can't do that.
He's going to
never done that. Well, you do it better than me, man.
No, you're doing a good job. You're doing great. I know that Italian, that internet's tough in Italy. I know. Everybody I talk to always complains about it.
Yeah, it's
the government's corrupt. It's all corrupt.
I'm actually amazed that we're online. No, it's not bad, but it's not pretty bad. Compared to other places in the world, it's definitely,
Birdee, you keep saying to me, Lenny, we have to do it by fax. I send you a fax, and you send me a fax back, and then we can get through this interview. You write down some questions, you answer it, then I'll answer everybody. I'll write again, send the fax through. So, back to your disco story. So, since we're in a pure disco love affair with disco, so Andy signs it. So, what's the reaction when you get the record? How does it all work out for you? What do? You send it to them, a message. How does that work for you to get this record to happen with Midnight Riot?
Yeah, I just sent him the track. He really liked it. Then I sent him another track that I've been working on, which he also liked. And then he said, we should probably get someone to remix it. And I said, okay, great. And then he said, oh, actually, I got Pete Herbert, who's interested in doing a remix for your main track. And he was like one of my top 5 guys that I want to remix the track. So I was like, great job. And that EP did really well. And then I ended up actually doing an album for ISM. I would say that's definitely, the first proper disco production that I did. Yeah, I did a couple of EPs with ISM, did a few with Reloved, with Seamus Haji.
The Big Love. The Big Love monogram. Yeah. Seamus Haji, everybody. We had him on too. Another great producer.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, great guy.
Oh yeah.
And he also used to come and play in Italy, years ago. Still does. But that was the scene at the time. I remember seeing his name on flyers, and he definitely has some fond memories of Italian clubs and Italian food.
Crazy.
As you'd expect.
Yes. Everybody always says the first thing, the food. They don't even talk about the clubs. They go, oh, God, I miss the food.
Yeah, but the kid is like the last thing you want to worry about. What you worry about is which restaurant you're going to go and eat.
Right.
Which wine you're going to drink.
Which restaurant you're going to this week? I would ask that. Where are we going tonight? I don't care about what club I'm playing. Where are we going to eat? Mangiare.
Yes.
Mangiare. Oh. I got a special place for you. There was a place in Milano. They used to make this roast beef sandwich. Like a panini sandwich, but a roast beef. And they were known, they would have fresh, they would cut it. And it was out. Oh, God, I can't remember what it's called. But there was so many great places to go eat in Italy. That's the one thing all the DJs discussed that who went to Italy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Can never go wrong. But also, very important, with Italy, there was some amazing disco producers that came out of Italy too, like Mauro Masalavi from Change and
of course, yeah.
And all those, the group Change came out of Italy. Well, the producers came out of Italy. The Americans were the singers, but the production staff were all Italian. Also,
yeah, obviously.
Kano, I'm ready. I'm ready. That was another big from Goody Goody in Rome, the Goody Goody record shop. That came Kano, and First True Love Affair, Jimmy Ross. So you have a lot of disco around you, brother. A lot of disco in Italy.
Yeah, that Kano Records is just incredible to this day. You can play it and it still sounds like it was made yesterday because the production is so kind of like naive in a way, but it just sounds so cool. And yeah, definitely a lot of stuff was coming. As you mentioned, Mauro Malavasi, he also did a lot of pop productions in Italy. So I actually knew him from being a pop producer before, and I realized that he was a driving force, or one of the driving forces behind Change, which at the time I think they were one of the biggest selling disco bands really after Chic.
Oh, big time. Big time.
It's just incredible that all came originally from an Italian studio. And as you say, the singers were American, and then it all got mixed and mastered in America. But the ideas and the original seed was coming from Italy, which is pretty incredible.
And that tells you how funky the Italians were with their music.
Yes. Yeah,
so
I think we still have that. Like, we like that.
Right, so you have all that Italiano disco all around you. Plus, all the big piano records are coming out in the 80s out of Italy, too. The big piano records.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, at the time, I was into rock, so I didn't really
you missed everything, bro. You missed it all. You missed everything. You missed everything.
I know. It's ironic.
It's like you're listening to Van Halen. Around that time would have been Van Halen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Journey.
Journey, not so much. Van Halen, definitely.
Twisted Sister.
I got some Twisted Sister records back here, I'm sure.
All the metal bands were out and the big hair. So disco was no discussion with those rock people. No discussion.
But that's why I find it so refreshing in London that, as I said, when the big beat thing came out, it's like all of a sudden we don't need to be enemies anymore. It's not like either you make dance or you make rock. It's like you can actually have some rock samples in dance music, some funk samples in dance music, and it's like, there's a James Brown beat followed by a guitar that's sampled by The Who. And then I get it. I finally get dance music, and so many people like me, same thing, who didn't used to go dance into house music in clubs, finally found a way to go and dance and understand dance music. So that was definitely a revolution for me.
And it was a good one, Marcello, because now you're here making records that everybody wants. And became a number one new disco producer.
Too kind.
Yes, you became a number one. Let's let's give you some love. Let's say it. Let's show it. You know, check this out, everybody. Oh, not that one. Look, everybody. Look, I don't lie. Look at that. What you need, Birdee, Hot Sunday Records. What's that say? Does that say number 3? I see it as number 1. Everyone, number 1. Number 1, everybody. Get that right. Don't get it twisted. He makes number 1 records, and people are looking for him. He's a new disco indie dance producer, and he has a number 1 for 2 weeks now. So keep him there. Help him.
I'm very grateful. Obviously, just want to say I'm very grateful to everyone who bought the track and supported it. You know, it definitely means a lot. And the Traxsource guys are always very, very good at, like, you know, selecting records and curating the website. It's like it's a really nice scene. That's another thing I like. It's like the disco scene is not the biggest scene, but it's a very nice scene to be a part of. Everyone seems to be in it for the music and for the love of it, and not for the bullshit parts, you know.
That's right. That's what it is. And that's about the music, right?
Yeah, and some of the people, it's funny, it's really diverse. Like, some of the guys are a little older, some of the new DJs are really much younger, but they're really into the sound, and it just seems to be a very healthy, you know, mix of people. And as I said, like, every night I play, every festival I've been to, it's always like smiling faces, people having fun.
Sure.
No bullshit, just enjoying the music and having a few drinks and getting down.
So,
which is what I like to do.
So when did the international DJing start for you? Like, being able to go play around, like England and everywhere?
I'd say really, like, after I moved to England, and then, as I said, the breakbeat scene was pretty big. San Francisco, I played quite a bit, and then Australia had a huge scene as well. And funnily enough, now Australia also has a big disco scene, as you know. So, you know, Dr. Pepper, Late Night Tough Guy, are both from there. I was lucky enough to do a tour of Australia just before this whole madness started, so January last year, and it was really mind-blowing. Like, everybody knew the tracks, and loads of people really into disco, like really coming to hear the music, not just coming to a club to dance. But yeah, I'd say 95 was probably, 2005 was when my international DJing started really. You know, I played in Spain quite a bit, San Francisco quite a bit, Australia once a year for 3-4 years in a row.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a huge rush, obviously, as you know.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like playing out, right?
Yeah, I obviously miss it a lot, and I'm really hoping that just a few months from now we'll be, you know, back to our usual lifestyle.
We can only hope. But so, in the terms of production, what does your setup consist of? Like, what do you work on and things? People always ask me, what do you work on?
Right, but I can see what you work on in that studio.
Wait. The glass, everybody, the green screen. No.
Yeah. All right.
So tell me what's some, everybody's always asked me on the sidelines. Can you ask the producers that come on what sequencing software, what's their DAW, their digital audio workstation of choice?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Ableton these days, really. I used Logic for a long time, and then a lot of my friends were using Ableton, and it just seemed a lot quicker to get things done. And then I just remember basically learning just from watching my friends in the studio do stuff, and learning a few shortcuts and, you know, how to arrange a track really quickly. I still use Logic from time to time because I like some of the plugins, and I like the Rhodes sound that EVP88 that Logic has is really, really good. But I'd say 90% is like Ableton these days. Then I have a couple of synths, but not that many really. Like I have a Juno 106 that I've used for years, an SH 101 that I've also used for a long time, but I gotta get it fixed because it makes some funny noises, but not the good ones. Uh, and that's pretty much it. Like I have a Dynaudio BM6 monitors, which you can maybe see in the background or maybe not. I had some Adams when I was in LA, and yeah, so it's pretty much like, well, actually one key piece of hardware that's definitely influenced my production in the last couple of years has been the UAD Apollo, because the plugins are just incredible. It's so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. The plugins in UAD, those that know, they make high quality plugins. Excellent. They're very close to the real sounding pieces. I will say the UAD stuff.
Yeah, they sound amazing. If I have to tell you like the one piece of hardware that's definitely changed my production, I would have to go with the Apollo Twin, because it's just cleaned up my mixes. It just makes it so much easier to do a good mix now.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it you use it too, right?
I use an Orion as my digital audio converter, and then I have so many plugins like Waves, Plugin Alliance, and different things that I use, but I remember how the real pieces sounded, so I kind of go to the same pieces I used in the real boxes, except now I use them more as plugins. Crazy.
Yes.
It's very close. I mean, it's not exact, but it's not far away. It's very close. The digital stuff to the real boxes now. They've gotten very, very good. Very good. And when you're mixing records, nobody would know the difference if you were saying to them that I was actually doing it with the real pieces or the plugins, because of just the way things are, But, we keep moving it. We keep doing it, trying to make things sound better. And little by little, honing the craft to make it all better. But you're becoming you're becoming what I call a go-to. People listen to your records to be inspired, like what you're doing. You're inspiring other young guys that are coming up, and they want to be like what you're doing, basically. So you keep doing what you're doing, because it's working. Is Birdee's still with us? I think that Italian network, that
it's coming and going.
I'm filling in the blank. I'm filling the blank while I'm waiting for you to come back.
Yes, thank you.
I'll tell you what it is.
For that.
I'll tell you what it is. Like this, the guy is getting tired. He needs more wine. He's going like this.
Yeah, the hands are. Yeah,
they're going like this. Wait. And when he goes and drinks the wine, the power drops and everything goes away.
Yeah. Speaking of which, cheers.
Look, there's always time for wine. Everybody, grab your wine and cheese and pasta.
Yeah, it can be a problem, definitely. But no, I just want to say I was hearing everything, but I couldn't say anything. Thank you so much for the kind words. I mean, it's like, I don't know that I am a go-to, but I'm trying to do the best productions I can. And
look, you got four records in the top 100. So it's hard not to take notice that you're doing something that, common sense. You're going to check the guy out. You're going to say, wow, what makes everybody sought after for Birdee, and they listen, they go, wow, super cool. You have a sound that works, and that's just the way it is. And good for you. Keep it up. We'll make sure Birdee comes back. That Italian, I tell you, the guy over there right now, let's see, is coming on 9 o'clock at night. The guy running the internet, the foot power. He's slowing down. He's like, I gotta go. I can stanco. I'm getting tired. And Birdee is now almost lost completely in Italy. Like the ocean, like I feel like we got to do I got to start the show more towards 1:00 in the afternoon for him over there to come back to us. Let's see, is he back? Hello, Birdee, come back, please. The bird won't fly away because of the internet. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, gives me a moment to break into something while I'm waiting for him to come back.
Yeah.
Back, Birdee. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, we are here.
You lost your video, my
live and direct.
You lost your video.
Can you see me?
No, you're
okay.
Black
Let me try. Okay. Let me try and change room and change network, and hopefully that'll work. Can you see me now?
While you're doing that, no, we can't see it. Let me do another commercial. I want to tell everybody what's going on this Saturday, and then we'll get you back in. Okay. So check this out, everybody.
Yes.
While we're waiting for him to get his video back. This Saturday, look who I have. This Saturday, okay, 9:00 UK time, he's coming on. Carl Cox. Look at that. Carl Cox is coming on. It's going to be absolutely mayhem to have Carl Cox with me. I know him well. He's a great man. He is going to enlighten us with all kinds of great information and what he's been doing to stay healthy and alive during this pandemic. Tune in this Saturday. It's a special show. When Birdee comes back, we'll have Birdee behind us. But I've been waiting to tell you all, Carl Cox, this Saturday, March 13th, 9:00 UK time, 4:00 New York City time, 10:00 European time. I think we may have lost him. I'm not sure. We didn't lose Carl Cox, but we definitely, possibly, he's going to have to come back in again. We'll see if we get him back in. I want everybody for tuning in, of course, but don't forget, Carl Cox, our man, will be this week on the show. Oh boy. I tell you that Italian internet gets, I should send a box of wine to the internet company because the way they're running that over there with that power. Oh yeah. Oh God, let's see, Mr. Birdee. 4 top records in the top 100 go chart, Traxsource. We got to bring him back. Yep, Birdee's back. See, I kept him here.
Different connection.
Birdee, I was telling him that I got to send a box of wine to the internet people. But in Italy, they're doing such a great job.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. We got good power. All right, bring everybody back. Birdee's back. He's going to tell you. Go ahead, Birdee. Give us everything you got. Turn on that power. Get the extra power going because we're losing you again. Gets to a certain time of night, the Italian internet starts crashing. Kind of funny. But anyway, while we're waiting for Birdee's internet to clear up. So
my provider will be hearing from me tomorrow.
Oh God, they're gonna hear from you, and they're gonna tell you, "Andiamo, no problema, it's okay."
Ma dai,
Bye. And you tell them no viage. You don't understand. I get it. We get it. People are actually writing saying to me they love your stuff. They love your stuff. So I told you, you're doing great. You're doing good things. But the latency and the video crashing, it's terrible. But what can we do? We can only control what we can control. Some things are out of our hands.
Exactly, but I'm very, very happy to hear this. Very humbled, and very grateful that people are listening to my music. You know, that's always the ultimate goal.
Oh, okay, so now we know what you do with your productions. What have you been doing to stay alive? Like everything, musically, professionally, medically. What have you been doing since we went into lockdown? What's your life been like? Most people want to know.
I was quite happy and grateful that I got quite a few remix requests. Literally as soon as the lockdown thing happened, so that kept me busy because I didn't like many other friends that I've been speaking to. Like nobody really have a lot of creative juice at the moment. Like I've heard this as a common thing, but like a lot of people just felt really like, you're staring at the computer and you're trying to come up with something and nothing's happening because the energy is just weird around. But having to work on remixes, obviously, it's just something that
Well, that was good that you had the remixes to keep you focused during this time.
So
because you guys were the first ones. And I'm going to bring this up. I remember talking to Kenny Carpenter. He was living in Napoli at that time. And he was telling me, as before America had it happen, the pandemic, he was telling me things are very tough in Italy, very tough in Italy, very tough.
Yeah, I was actually, I had a pretty crazy experience, as in
Bear with us, everyone. I know everyone's getting upset over the internet. He's worth it to listen. Don't worry, he's worth it. He's worth it, just like everybody else. Spend your time with us. Don't worry, Uncle Lenny's still here. I'll keep you all in tight while he comes back.
Okay, man.
Yes. Go ahead. So you were saying.
But yeah, so I flew to London, and then I was my plan was to go to Italy for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then come back to LA. And that's when literally all hell broke.
I guess he probably was saying all hell broke loose, and Italy was really bad. Because I remember I was talking to the producers. They were telling me, Lenny, I don't feel like doing music right now. I'm like, what's going on? All the people around my village are dying. This is what people were saying to me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I mean, I was answering for you. I remember I was just saying about, what happened with you. People were telling me. But
so I was kind of like caught between a rock and a hard place. Like I didn't know if I should go to Italy or not, and just try and go back to LA, because it seemed like Italy was getting shut down very quickly. And I tried to get advice from some friends of mine. They said, if you come to Italy, you won't be able to leave for I don't know how long. So in the meantime, they are blocking all flights going to the US from Europe, except from the UK. And luckily I was in London. So I managed to get a flight going back to LA literally the night before they shut everything down. So my first 3 months of lockdown was actually in LA, which wasn't so bad because, it's, Italy was kind of like, I was speaking to my friends and it sounded crazy. Like you weren't even allowed to go out of your home. It was really extreme and people were losing.
Yeah, but what scared everybody is that nobody could figure out why everybody was quickly dying. That was what was going on in Italy. They had no answers. It was just like hospitals were completely filled and people were just dying. And they kept saying the whole world's watching this and we're not understanding yet truly about this COVID. We didn't really understand the coronavirus. We were just saying, what the hell is going on in Italy? That's all we're thinking. Why is Italy so affected and nowhere else? We're like, we're Italy. You never hear anything about Italy except food. Now all of a sudden we hear that everywhere. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. We're like, whoa, what is going on? I'm calling Italian DJs. They say it's so bad. Lenny, you don't understand. I'm like, no, we're watching CNN. We know what's going on, but why? And then...
Yeah, it was terrible, and I'm obviously incredibly sad because, as you said, of the amount of people that actually died or got really sick. And I was kind of like watching from the sidelines, not knowing where to go. Like, do I go back home? Do I try and go back home, but then I won't be able to leave, or do I go back to the US?
Well, that's the question now.
You know,
if you would have went to the US, would you have the medical care? That was the question I had for a lot of people who were abroad. That's why a lot of people went home.
That was one of my big questions, yes. And I kind of took a gamble because I was like, you know, I can only hope that if I get this thing, it's going to be a mild form. But then to the U.S. defense, I think they managed to make for specifically for COVID, the healthcare, I think, from what I know and I've seen, has been pretty good and free for the most part, and the testing has been free. So maybe that's been a step in the right direction of a general revolution in American healthcare, which is obviously not, but not in a great place. But yeah, I think I would have been fine. I think I would have got care if I really had got sick. But luckily, nothing happened. And you know, I did my very long flight with 2 masks on. Landed in LA, quarantined for 15 days. Yeah, I mean, LA wasn't the worst place where to spend this time because, you know, it's sunny, there's a lot of open spaces. So even if you have to stay at home, you have generally have a pretty big space, like big outside where you can go on, you don't feel like completely stuck. So it was cool. It wasn't the worst experience, but now in Italy, it looks like we're talking about shutting everything down again for 2 or 3 weeks because the infection rates are still really bad compared to other places. Like, I mean, in the US, we're falling pretty quickly, obviously, because the vaccinations are going ahead very quickly. Same in the UK. Yeah, I mean, we're good at doing a lot of things, but organizing is never been, like having good organization has never been an Italian strong point. So that's kind of like getting, you know, with all the love, like I love Italy, I love where I am, but they really need to get to step on the gas and speed up the vaccinations because we all want to be out of this as soon as we can.
So do you really think we're going to be traveling soon, the way things look? Because you're living in the middle of Italy right now. Do you think Europe is going to open up completely, properly?
Not for a few months, but I'm hoping that by summer, you know, what we saw last summer is that the infection rates were really almost none. They were really, really low. So I'm hoping that between, you know, the vaccines being rolled out and the fact that the virus seems to be less strong in the summer, there's a good chance that we'll be able to, I mean, I don't know about traveling to another continent, but hopefully, you know, within Europe. I can only hope. I mean, you know what really actually gives me hope is what I'm seeing in Australia, where a lot of the DJs are just, you know, playing nights and doing festivals, and everything seems to be kind of back to normal life. And that's because their infection rates are really low. So, and that happened for them within a time frame of 3 months, maybe. So if that happened there, I mean, there's no reason why it can't happen here in like 3-4 months from now. But obviously, you know, keeping fingers crossed, and yeah. But yeah, I'm positive.
Good. So here's the deal. What's the next step for you till this traveling begins? What are you thinking about? What's the things that you're doing now to stay busy?
I'm again finishing a bunch of remixes, actually, and then finishing some more originals. I'm working with a couple of singers, so I have to actually have a lot of work to do, like piecing vocals together and blah, blah, blah. And I have a couple of other ideas that I'm working on. So it's been like, I finally managed to get into a groove where, instead of being sad about not being able to go anywhere, because I can't go anyway. I'm trying to channel that into like making the most of this time and saying like, well, I can't really go out that much. So I'll just stay in the studio, get my head down, be as productive as I can, and do everything I can to turn this into a positive time, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a positive time. I can't say that.
But see, this is the question.
I remember this as a great time, but
Marcello, the thing is that you guys are on the house arrest almost, right? You go from the house, you go to the store, then you come back. Why do you think the infection rates are going so high in Italy? What's causing this?
That's the question on everyone's, and even the scientists don't really have the answers. So, I really have no idea whatsoever. I mean, the initial lockdown was as bad as that. Now it's not quite as strict. So we're allowed to go out. And every region is slightly different. Like our region had a very low infection rate for a while. So we could actually, like, the bars were open, restaurants were open. Now they're not. Some bars are open, but they're only takeout. And other regions, like, for example, Sardinia, is almost like back to normal. Other regions are doing worse than us. So it's really like a mixed story. And but yeah, to your question, I honestly have no idea. I would have thought that with that, you would think,
when everybody being in their house hiding, you would think this thing would somewhat be like Australia in a sense, start to go down. But yet you're hearing the opposite in Italy. It's going back up again, and there's no parties nowhere. I talked to many people in Italy. They're doing nowhere like you, doing nothing. I'm like, why is it still getting so high? The numbers, infections,
Yeah, I honestly have no idea, but I can only hope that it'll go down soon. And as I said, once they start speeding up with the vaccines, that should make a big difference. Hopefully, it's made a big difference in the UK, and it's making a big difference in the US. So, yeah, we just need to speed it up. And
hurry up!
Hurry up!
So, people, there's a lot of newcomers watching as well. Can you tell people how important the social media is and how much work goes into, making Birdee's name stay strong in social media?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a job in itself, which is, new for someone like me or you who grew up with vinyl and really didn't have to think about this whole thing. It's also I mean, there's definitely a side to it that I really like, the ability to interact with people telling you, oh, I really like that track you did, or I didn't really like the track you did. But, or I came to your show, and it's definitely, I think the main thing with social media is the crucial thing is really building a relationship with the people who are supporting you ultimately. And at least to me, that's what it is. It's not about like, obviously in some other circles, social media is just about making it look as big as possible, sometimes fake, obviously. But I think that only lasts for a little while. And really what you want is like organically build your social media and connect with the people who are buying your music, coming to your shows, and that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You really have to.
No. If you think you're gonna spend some money with the Russians and have this big page, and then you have 2 comments and 1 million followers, it don't look good. It takes a lot of time to build up the fans, the people that love
exactly.
Birdee.
People will find that out eventually, and it's it took me a long time to get my Spotify followers up as well, and like my Instagram and whatever. And I just realized that when you, especially on Instagram or Facebook, not so much, it's kind of dying, but especially on Instagram, when you the posts that have the most engagement were the ones that I really cared about, and the ones where I actually did have something that I wanted people to know. So I started posting a little less instead of posting for the sake of it, and instead of Instagramming your lunch every day, just go, this happened today, really important. Like I have this new track out, or I'm happy about this, I'm happy about that, and as I said, like it's more of an organic growth, and then you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm tired of everybody saying, "Hi, everyone. Look what I'm eating today. Oh, I'm changing my clothes. Oh, God. Another posting of bullshit."
That can definitely be annoying, yeah.
Like,
yeah, it also depends who you follow.
Exacto. You got it. Exactly. The new records and the new remixes, this man's hot. How much? So are people asking you yet for? Yes, exactly. Are people asking you about when you're going to travel again? Because I'm getting those questions. I love when they ask me, when are you traveling, Marcello? When are you going to be traveling to go play? Go ahead, tell people.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people ask, but you can't really be sure about anything. So I don't want to give any answers that would be inaccurate. So I think it's just going to be another few months, but I'm really hoping that this summer, at least Europe, will be okay, and that we'll be able to travel freely. And flights are pretty inexpensive, and places are closed. So fingers crossed. Yeah, I think it's still a little early, but the fact that Defected confirmed their festival in Croatia, and a bunch of other people are confirming gigs, and the UK has made it clear that all being well, June 21st, everything should reopen, is a very positive thing, and it's keeping me very hopeful. So how do you do this? Fingers crossed.
I know, we're going to keep it like this. Everybody put their fingers crossed. Here's the question. Will I be able to travel across that small little ocean, that pond? That's what I'm wondering.
I sure hope so.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think by June. If I'm lucky, cute question, it'll be more towards the fall. If by September, October. I don't think it's going to be possible for the Americans. Okay, so this is what I read, everybody, yesterday. I looked online. It said if you wanted to come into the UK, they haven't changed the regulations. Let's just talk about the UK, not Europe, okay? If you're coming into the UK, you have to spend £1,700, and they have to put you in a 10-day quarantine at a hotel, and all in plastic. You heard me, all in plastic. So it's like a plastic room. You stay there for 10 days. Then you come out, and then you can play. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's like, maybe. Or they keep me in the plastic room, and I'll be like going, like trying to get out, going like this, like, let me out, who knows?
Yeah.
This is what I read. Now, June 21st, you're telling me everything's going to open. So that means the border opens too, and I can get in? Can you get in?
I mean, I don't know. No, I don't know about that.
It's going to be like Roach Motel. Once you get in, you can't get out. You know that commercial? Right. I don't know if you ever saw that. The roach goes in the box, and then it can't come out. Is it going to be the same? The roach goes in, the cucaracha, and the cucaracha cannot come out. Am I going to do that cucaracha? Get inside, and then be like in the plastic room, and they go to me.
And that's it.
Fontana, go to the desk in the plastic room too. Everybody's saying this is what's crazy. What is going to be the new normal? The new normal. Birdee, the new normal. Stand here in this line. First, it used to be EU, non-EU, right? Wait.
Yeah.
Here we go. Brexit. Oh, we forgot about Brexit. Don't forget, UK is separate now.
Oh yeah,
So,
don't even get me started on that one, man.
okay, here we go. UK, European. The next line now. Watch everybody. Dirty ass Americans. South American people. Dirty bastards. That's what's gonna be like on the. You know you're gonna see those things. It's gonna be like everybody's gonna be like, what line do I go on? The dirty bastard line.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely not going towards a more integrated world. That's for sure. That's probably the scariest bit. Alongside, in our particular case, our jobs being at risk. But yeah, that's definitely a scary thought, and that's unfortunately that's something that's been happening for a while, and the virus has just really, made it more exacerbated the whole thing. But it has been happening for a bit that, like, we were all trying to really come together, and it seems in the last 10 years everyone's trying to like come apart. I
know, it's crazy. Everyone was talking about what's going to happen when Brexit happens. What's going to happen when Brexit happens? I'm like, then COVID came. Brexit went away. No one remember Brexit. Like, silence. Brexit, silence. COVID now. That was it. And that was it. And now we're at vaccines. Is the vaccine working? Oh, I don't know if it works, but we have to get the vaccine. Okay. Oh my God.
It's like, I guess, I'm just trying to be philosophical about it. I guess it's kind of a circle, and every generation, it seems that every generation has to go through.
That this is not
an event like this.
No, wait, hold it. That's that. What generation? Wait. I got friends that are older than me. I got friends that are younger. Nobody remembers the generation of when the Spanish flu happened. That was over 100 years ago.
Yeah, the Spanish flu, yes.
A generation?
Yes.
Try 4 generations ago. It's generations 25 years. Not 50, 25.
That's true. But, my parents went through World War II, so
26, 25 years, not 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an important thing I got to ask you, and we forgot about this. You didn't even mention it. Thanks, Karen. Karen on the screen said, make sure you mention this, and we talked about it. How did it feel when Pete Tong played your record in 2019, bro, on BBC Radio?
Oh, that was such a buzz, because, as you know, that is kind of like the show to be played on. So yeah, it was
essential show, right? Essential, right?
Yeah, he played as first track as well, and the crazy thing is that it's not really. I mean, he mostly plays housey stuff, so it's a straight disco record. So I wasn't really expecting him to play it. And for some reason,
tell everybody which record he played. This way they can find it. Tell everybody what he played. What was the record he played that night?
Start the Weekend was the name of the track, and that was on Reloved, which is Seamus's label. So yeah, incredible buzz. BBC Radio 1 to me is just the best. It's always incredible quality of music, diverse shows. Like every show is just amazing. So it was a real buzz for sure. And to have that as first track of the show as well. No, I don't want to go on too much about it, but yes, definitely gave me some goosebumps for sure.
Not many people ever get that chance to hear their songs on BBC. That's a big moment for a producer.
It's always a buzz. Yeah, for sure. I did have some other stuff, like earlier stuff played on BBC, Annie Nightingale had played some of my tracks, but not for a few years. So to have that again, it's like, yes, amazing.
I hate it. I am there. I am here. In other words, do. I am the king. I am the king. I am the king of BBC.
I love your positive attitude, man.
It's nice. It's a good feeling, I'll tell you. It's even nicer when you get your record on radio rotation, on the regular daytime rotation. That's beautiful too.
That's something I have not experienced, but I can only imagine how amazing that feels.
I know that feeling. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And all the producers that have done dance music in the 90s and 2000s know that feeling, that when you had a record go into the playlist, oh my God, what a feeling. That everybody goes crazy. You know, they're all over you. Every record label's calling you. Everybody's calling you. People you haven't heard from in 100 years now want to get near you. I'm serious. It's like great. I haven't heard from you in like 30 years. Okay, hi, how are you? Oh my God, I heard your record on the radio. But what's another big part for you? What was another big moment for you in this house music disco thing? What was another big one for you that you said, oh wow, this is fantastic. This is grande.
I'd say really like Purple Disco Machine supported that track quite a bit too. And a lot of the Glitterbox guys as well. So being at Defected Croatia and seeing Purple Disco Machine play the track, or Smith Disco play the track, Melvo play the track. That's kind of like, I think the feeling you get when you see a DJ that you really like and respect playing your track for a crowd and the crowd appreciating it. That's always a moment of, when you think, okay, I spent all those hours in the studio making this track, and now you actually see the result.
So wait a minute, wait. So you're telling me you don't make records in 1 hour? You spend a lot of time?
Sometimes.
This is what I always told from people. I make records in an hour. I'm like, yo, what? An hour? An hour? I'm thinking about the moment of when I'm going to turn the equipment on. It's like, how long does it take you average, you would say, to make a track? How long you think it takes? I
would say like a week, roughly. But it really depends. Like some tracks, I'm sure it's the same for you. Like some tracks come really quickly. Some take forever. Some get set aside, and then you listen to them again in like a month, and you're like, oh, actually, you know what? That was a good idea. Maybe I should experiment a little bit more with it. And some just never get finished. I have found on average that 3-4 days is like a good period of time to understand if an idea is going to work or not. And I will play around with an idea for 3-4 days. If I get stuck on something and for some reason it's not convincing, then I usually let it go. So I've become a little better at that with time. Because before I would just get really stubborn and say, oh, there's some good elements in this track and I need to finish it. But sometimes for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen. So you just waste time. If I had to give one advice, is just, trust your gut. And if it comes together pretty quickly, then you're on to something. As I said, it's not like a super general rule, but most of the time, yeah. Like you get a feel for it really quickly, and you're like, oh, this works. Like next day, it's almost.
But here's the question now. I'm going to ask you from producer to producer. Right. How many times you worked on a record and you said, oh, it's great on that night you're working on the night. Everybody's hearing it. Yeah. Wait. And the next day, you turn on the computer and the speakers, and you're thinking in your mind, I remember what I heard last night.
Thinking, man.
And what happens today now when you hear it? What do you do?
Yeah, lots and lots of times. But I'm getting a little better at that. As in, like, the next day, yes. But then the next day, I just trash the session, and that's it. Yeah. before I would just spend a week on it, trying to salvage it, and then I'd be like, there's a reason why this track isn't happening, and I don't know what it is, but it's just not happening. So it's pointless. Just I think it's there's a quote from Giorgio Moroder actually where he said you need to make 9 bad tracks to make a good one, and I don't know.
9 bad tracks, Giorgio Moroder said, to make one good one. Wow, that's some serious odds. You got to make 9 bad records to make one good one.
Make a good one. And he made a few, quite a few.
Giorgio's made a lot of great records and also some that are not so great. I mean, it is what it is. Every producer's the same. No matter how great they are, they're going to have ones you go, oh, no, I'm not feeling that. No, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's, the thing is, like, you still got to spend the time in the studio. It's sort of like what I've really started to understand recently is that your creativity and your mind is kind of like going to the gym. It's like a muscle. You got to keep it trained, and you got to keep going in the studio every day and just working away, trying to find ideas, throw them on the wall, see what sticks, and keep what does and throw away what doesn't. But if you're like, oh, I'm not inspired today, obviously if you're really not inspired, then don't go to the studio. But it is important to just do it on a daily basis and just spend at least 3, 4, 5 solid hours just learning new things, new production techniques. There'll be like, maybe just a drum sound that inspires you to do something that you hadn't thought before. Maybe you'll find a sample that you hadn't thought of. You'll flip it, reverse it, cut it up, and something new comes out. And maybe it'll happen at the very end of the session. I find that sometimes, like, I'll have 4 hours where I'm literally like, banging my head against the wall. I'm like, oh, this shit, like nothing's happening. Nothing good is happening today. I'm just about to turn the computer off, and I'll play something like a piano riff or find a beat and something that makes you go like, oh, yeah, this can work tomorrow. Like, I'll save this, and then tomorrow with a fresh mind. But it's happened more than one time. And it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't spent those 3-4 hours just, doing it. And
right.
Creativity.
I asked this to John Morales. You know John Morales from,
Of course,
Mexico.
yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question. Yes, he's a wonderful guy. Can you have a regular day job, meaning working like at the bank or working in the car shop or whatever all day, and can you produce all night and do both effectively and also become really great at the production with having full-time work? Is it possible?
It's funny you asked me this question because I actually worked in an investment bank for 5-6 years in London, and I did exactly that. So I would be like 9 to 5 day job. I was lucky enough to be close to work, so 5:30 I'd be home, switch on my laptop, work until midnight, maybe 1, go to sleep, up at 8, Monday to Friday. Weekends, I take one day off completely, but then Sunday maybe I'd work on tunes again. So I mean, if you really want to do it, you can. You won't have much of a social life, but you can do it. I think you can only do it for a number of years because, I mean, really, it got to the point where I was very stressed out and it was going to be one thing or the other. And in 2008 was when I went to, I had a tour of Australia and I had run out of holiday entitlement. So my manager at the time said, okay, you either keep the job at the bank or you tour. And she was wonderful. She was really supportive of everything I did. But it was 2008, the financial crisis had hit. They were firing people. And I thought, this must be a sign because if I stay here, I'll probably lose my job anyway. So I may as well go and do it. And yeah, it's definitely interesting, juggling your two. I have to say, to be honest, I did learn a bit from working in an office, because it helps you be organized and have that attitude of like, actually doing work on, like, even if it's creative work, you have a
So
little
when
bit
you
of
worked in the financial, which bank did you work for back in '08? Which bank were you working?
I was working for a Swiss bank called UBS, but they had they were based in London. Yeah, very, very different worlds.
Oh, big time.
Very, very
Much different in music. Oh my, it's night and day difference. Way different. Were you afraid to make that, to leave? Like, were you really afraid, or was it the '08 crisis more made it easier to leave the job?
I was kind of afraid, because I had already been sort of like burnt by music once. And when I used to play in that rock band that I was telling you about, we had a deal with Virgin Records in Italy at the time. And, just for Italy, but still it was a pretty big label. And we did a good tour. We were supposed to do our second album. We worked on it for a year. And then our A&R at the time got fired, and we got dropped by the label. So after that happened was when I thought, okay, now I'll keep music as a hobby, and I'll just get a real job. And then, of course, what happened is that when you start making music because you like making music instead of wanting to do it as a career, that's when things come naturally out of your mind. So things started getting busier and busier, and I got a little more busy with gigs, and then I couldn't do both things anymore. So yeah, I was a little scared. But I think the time was right, and there's a reason why these things happen, and the reason that it happened in that year must have been my destiny in a way. I definitely never looked back. It's like it's not always been easy making music, like, not for anyone I know. Everyone goes through ups and downs, busy times, lots of gigs, no gigs, successful productions, like creative crisis, blah, blah, blah. But it's always been good. I've always been happy with the choice I made. And I definitely wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Well, there you go. That's why we had to ask that True House Stories.
Yeah. What did John say?
John said he couldn't do both. He needed to be completely in the music side of it to be very successful. If you want to do it as a hobby, sure, but to really do it the right way, you have to be all in this, and it's a full time. It's more than full time. You spend more hours than full time work sometimes on music. It's crazy the amount of hours we spend doing things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so his answer was the same, but he was a musical guy, always music. John Morales was always a music guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you, it sounds like, an obvious thing to say, but if you do what you love to do, then you'll spend 10, 12, 14 hours doing it. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Maybe the next day you won't. You'll spend like 3 hours. But you have your own pace, your own way of working, and what comes out in the end is your product.
Right.
And that's priceless. I mean, which is, to me, there was no question. Apart from, as I said, being a bit scared, but really, ultimately, you're like, what do I want to keep on doing? Like, what do I want to remember in life? Working in an office or traveling the world and playing music, making music. It's just, I feel very grateful and very, very blessed that I can have this.
Well, we can't ask for anything more. And we're blessed to have you rocking these tunes. We expect more from you. We expect a lot more out of you. We want to keep listening. We want to keep hearing it.
A lot more coming, I promise you.
Yeah, you don't.
Very soon.
make sure you keep, I think we covered a hell of a lot today. You definitely enlightened us with a lot of information. I bet you a lot of people didn't even know he worked for UBS Bank.
I would be very surprised if people knew that. I've kept it as hidden as I can.
There's the only thing is, if you're feeling, here's the last thing I'll ask you. Do you, like for me, if I'm not feeling really good today, I'm not happy. Let's just make it happy and sad. Real simple. If you're sad, can you go in the studio and make a great happy record? Because in your heart's not in it. Are you able to do that?
It has happened. It's been a process, but it has happened. It has happened that being in the studio has actually changed my mood. So my day started as being, not having a good day, and then I managed to turn it into a good day because I came up with an idea that I liked. It's not easy to do that, but it has happened sometimes, and I think in a way, making music is kind of like can work like that. It's kind of like a therapy when you're not feeling so good. I mean, man, right now when I can't go out, I'm barely seeing any of my friends. All I do is just stay at home. If I didn't have this, I'd be so lost. I'd really be so lost, and it's just so amazing to have that as a creative release. And as I said, the beginning of this period wasn't like that. Like the initial stage of lockdown for me was like complete creative crisis. But after a few months, I finally managed to get into the groove and turn it into something positive. And yeah. To answer your question, I think you can.
Okay. All right.
But you gotta try.
You gotta try, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you.